Hey everybody, Arnaldo Wolferman here of Gear It First. How do you like my new backdrop, right? This is awesome. So today's video is going to be, it's going to be kind of like a rant slash review. I don't usually mention other brands, but I'm going to in this instance because I'm super angry. You see, I'm a DJ. Surprise. I use turntables. As with any turntablist, I really had two choices. Either the Audio-Technica needle, or the font, however you want to say it, or the Shure. And most people use the Shure M44-7. Well, let me tell you a little story about these things. As you know, Shure, I could have sworn it was years ago, they said they were going to discontinue them, and they never wound up discontinuing them. And they finally did. And I, like every other DJ, went and bought, I think I bought like 12 or 13, I can't remember. No, had to be more. I think about like 24 of them, right? About 24 of them. And I blew through all 24 in less than 6 months. Now, that's mind-blowing. Beforehand, these needles would last me forever. Now it seems they're less and less. And I'm not saying that quality went down, but in this humble reviewer's opinion, quality went way down. I was not going to buy any more of them. I mean, forget it. They were discontinuing them, right? Not to mention that in the middle of an event, I literally had the actual stylus, a little diamond, and then just pop right off. So I put a brand new cartridge in, and that brand new cartridge, the whole kit did not work. It honestly made me angry, and I said, you know what? I'm done with Shure. I'm not using them again. And I was going to look at the Audio-Technica series. I mean, it's time proven. It's a good needle. And right as I was about to hit the purchase button, I see on my email a press release from Audio-Technica came out. And in the Audio-Technica press release, it said they had 2 new stylus, or 2 new cartridges for DJs. So that's what I have. I've got the one model here and I've got the other here. I gave them a try and I gotta tell you, a couple of pros and cons, but for the most part, I'm really happy with them. The number one con, and this is according to Audio-Technica, is that this is not for scratching. Now, I'm not a turntablist in that sense by any means. I do some very basic stuff here and there. But I had one of my DJs tune selected, just go and try it, and it worked great for him. And I had a couple other guys run it, and Audio-Technica says it's not for scratching, but it seems to work pretty well on it. So let's go ahead and cover some of the new XP series from Audio-Technica here on Gear It First. So we've got 2 different cartridges, needles, models that they have. We have the XP5 here and the XP7. XP5 comes in a sexy red. The XP7 comes in a chrome. You would think that the prettier looking one would be the higher end model, but I don't know. If you're doing time code, you may not even notice a difference. I sure haven't. For the last, oh my goodness. Actually, since these came out, I've had XP5 on one side, XP7 on the other. I haven't noticed a difference, even with a heavier bass or anything like that. But from what I understand, the XP7 should last a little bit longer. So the XP series, pretty much, they want you to have the best possible sound quality. I did try this with traditional vinyl. It does sound beautiful. Just to give you some basic ranges, it's got a 0.3 by 0.7 millimeter elliptical bonded stylus and a tracking force range of 2 to 4 grams. So this means that if you're using any older vinyl or anything like that, especially with wide grooves, deep bass, this is really going to catch every little bit of the detail. The XP5 works at a 5.5 millivolts and the XP7 works at 6 millivolts. Keep that in mind, especially depending on whether you're using the rain vinyl, the Serato Performance. They all work slightly different. And I've even noticed that with any other cartridge or stylus that I've used, that some of the weaker ones don't work that well until I use Serato Performance vinyl. But the XP5 and the XP7 both have worked excellently. I'm actually using the Serato Rain vinyl. I really like the way this one tracks. And we'll do some quick tests back and forth so you can get an idea. The cartridges themselves, if you actually look at them, they are designed so none of the plastic is even remotely close to touching the vinyl. So if you look at the Shure, it's almost flat. And if, God forbid, the bass hits really hard and the needle bounces, the plastic will hit your record. Maybe, maybe not. I've had a couple of times, especially as it wears out, that you can actually literally see it bounce and the plastic will hit it. So let's go ahead and compare. Now I went ahead and cleaned my needles a little bit, but I just got done gigging, so we'll see how well that works out. These have been used for quite some time. As a matter of fact, they have been used about as much as the Shure has. So at least it's going to be close to even as possible. I've been using these probably since, I would say maybe June or April, which is the same time that I bought this one. And they've all been used relatively the same, so I think kind of going back and forth. Probably the Shure has a little bit less, actually probably has maybe about 7 or 8 gigs left in it. But either way, let's go ahead and flip into Serato. I use Virtual DJ, but I figured you guys would rather see the Serato screen. And what I'm doing is I kept everything, I didn't do the estimate, I kept everything exactly the same. What you can see is the XP5 is a little bit more oval shaped than the XP7, whereas the XP7 gives us almost a perfect circle. It just looks absolutely beautiful. Let's go ahead and remove the XP7. And I am now going to put in the Shure. And it's giving me crap. You know, that I promise you I didn't try like this.
Bruh.
Okay, so now we're gonna try a Shure M44-7. This is on a Turntable Labs head shell. And it's giving me crap. Now that we got it working, we can see that the M44-7 is significantly louder and a lot more round than the XP5. However, I did not have to go through 1, 2, 3 different head shells and needles to get my XP5 working, which I found myself with the M44-7, especially with the last couple of batches. And the batch wasn't just from one place, it was from a couple different places. So I don't think it's just necessarily maybe a bad batch of needles. Now let's go ahead and take the XP5 out and we'll try the XP7. And let's compare the XP7 for a minute. So the XP7 does show that it is quieter than the M44-7. If volume alone or volume output for your DVS is the most important thing to you, then of course the M44-7 would definitely be it. But this isn't really about that. This is about reliability. Audio-Technica continues to support the DJ industry, whereas Shure seems to be discontinuing these. So bye-bye these guys. It's really about coming up to the next step. And you may be asking, well, why haven't you looked at any of the other brands? Well, in reality, I'm an Audio-Technica fan. I use all their microphones. I've used several other pieces of gear, especially their headphones, and I like it. But just for craps and giggles, let's go ahead and exit out of Serato and go into Virtual DJ and see what Virtual DJ reports as well. The results should be relatively the same. Actually, with Virtual DJ, it is a little bit different than Serato. It's automatic. So all I gotta do is just hit calibrate and calibrate. And on the right is my M44-7. On the left is my XP7. Both look to be stable, and Virtual DJ sees them to be pretty much exactly the same. I'm gonna try it now with the XP5. You can see that it's a little bit smaller again compared to the XP7. Now, and this is what's interesting. Even if I hit calibrate, it's still a little smaller as far as the circle. And again, you're talking 5.5 millivolt versus the 6 millivolt output. And if I get rid of my Shure, and I put this guy back over here, now, if you get rid of the Shure and you put the XP7 in its place, you'll see that the Shure circle is a little smaller. But if I calibrate it, of course, on Virtual DJ, it fixes it. So what does this tell me as a DJ? Well, I use Virtual DJ, not Serato. So all I care about is really, hey, does the tracking work right off the bat? And I've never really had issues with tracking. And just to give you an idea, again, there's a couple, actually there's about 3 brand new Shures. There's another new Shure here, and I've got another one of these cases that's full of them. But what you saw is that I had to switch, well, excuse me, what you didn't see in the background is that I had to switch my Shure ones out. And I know, again, that some of you will immediately try to thumbs down this video or say, Arnaldo, I've never had this issue. It must be user error. And I would say the same thing too, but you know what, talking to other DJs, they've noticed the same. Or they'll say, well, I go through these every couple of weeks. That's not normal. I actually gig less now than I did before. The joys of being a multi-op. Woo! I gig less now than I did before, and I find myself using, obviously, my turntables less than, in the years past, and that's by personal choice because I take less gigs, but yet somehow I'm using more of the Shure cartridges. And again, maybe it's bad luck, but to me, it doesn't make sense. And either way, all that goes out the window because the Audio-Technica is my replacement. And the reason, there's actually several reasons why. One, I like Audio-Technica. Audio-Technica stands behind their products. Now that's not saying that other manufacturers don't, but I will tell you who I've had experience with, and I've had tons of experience with AT. 2, they use the same head shell as my Shure, so I didn't have to sit there and buy all brand new head shells. And I've got a bunch of head shells laying around, and of course I'm using the Audio-Technica head shells because it was much easier to really show off how everything plays together. And 3, I like the design better. I find myself not having to get the special water cleaner. When I dust with my little brush here and I dust all the dirt off, the dirt comes off. With my Shure, it would actually cake itself on and it would not come off. And to the point that if I even touched it with my thumb, a couple of times I've actually broken off the damn stylus. The Audio-Technica seems a little bit more robust. That stylus really sticks to the, I guess whatever that metal tongue thing is called. It just sticks a lot better. Overall, I couldn't be any happier with it. I am in love with my XP5 and XP7. I will tell you that, like I said earlier, you'll hardly notice the difference between performance, but I will still go with the XP7 because those little subtle differences are it's not worth going cheaper on. So if budget's a concern, go with the XP5. If you want the best of everything, go with the XP7, especially if you are in a bass-heavy environment. So you guys know what to do. Oh, and by the way, this is actually really cool. These just kind of slide in. There we go. The Shures have that little flip thing, and I can't tell you how many times I've broken the little flip thing. I like this rubber one much better. So you guys know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up if you are a turntablist or use turntables. Leave a comment and tell me what your favorite needle is. If you use the Audio-Technica stuff, hey, tell me your experience with it. But if you're looking for a new needle to replace the infamous Shures, again, unpopular opinion here, I'm not a fan of the Shures anymore. I've had some grievances for quite some time. I don't think I can really say that enough. And I'm really happy that Audio-Technica has given a great replacement. And again, they keep saying it's not for scratching. So you may be a scratch DJ like, hey, these are not good for that. Well, again, I started saying that from the very beginning, but I can't tell you that I've had a few scratch artists mess with my turntables and they've had no issues. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Arnaldo Hoffman of Gear It First. You guys have a great evening and God bless. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more like it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Gear It First, honest reviews, incredible gig logs, lots of tips and tricks, and more tutorials than any other YouTube channel. I guarantee it or your money back.